sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about.
But the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Cleveland, this is for you.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase.
Yes, folks, what is going on? Welcome to a special edition of the A&I podcast. I am one half Arden Franklin here.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Isaiah Smalls, man. It's a great day out here, man.
It's a great day. Hey, bro,
I'm super excited, man.
It's a great day up here in New York. I broke out, the fresh retro college shorts.
Okay.
Time for the one time.
Okay, I see you.
So I don't know how to act. You dig what I'm saying? But we here, man. Welcome to our first ever NFL Draft Special 2021 edition. Of course, we got the good brother Reed with us, our EP, the man you can't see but can certainly feel and hear. And of course, we had to bring a special guest, man. We had to bring the homie. We had to bring the broski.
Had to.
Zay, let the people know who we got in the building, man, for real.
Hey,
the man that's saving Jets Twitter. Let me say that. The man that's saving Jets Twitter. Let me say
Real
that.
rap, though.
Hey, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Real rap, though. Hey, man, so I met this brother, like 2019? I met you, DJ?
That's
2019? Yeah, Tunde. My guy Tunde, who was someone I went to Columbia Journalism School with, connected us saying, this is a good dude from South Florida. He's interested in sports. Y'all got to connect. And so I was like, all right, whatever, Connected is what it is. We actually linked up, a few weeks ago before you came back down before you went back up.
Yeah, we were linking up on South Beach.
Yes, South Beach. Yes. But that don't matter. This is the man, the myth, the legend, DJ, my boy, New York Daily News, Jets reporter.
Rookie of the year over there, man. Come on.
Definitely. Already secured. Leading the way. Over there looking like Anthony Edwards, bro.
Bro, I done told this man on the phone, I got bread on him saving a day for sure. What?
But nah. My man's is real solid. Definitely as Arden said, definitely saving Jets Twitter. So let's give a nice round of applause to the man, the myth, the legend.
Let's get it.
Tell me what it do, man.
Hey, DJ, how have you been surviving during this draft season, man? Especially with the price of the brick going up for you. How you been living?
So it's been an adjustment, as a fan. When you watch draft cover, you just reading the stuff, but you kind of take breaks from it. You feel me?
Yeah.
Well,
of course.
You can't take a break from it. Anything that's newsworthy, you gotta cover it. You gotta write about it. You know what I'm saying? Like last year, I didn't have to worry about that. Whatever the Dolphins were doing, if I read some new news, all right, move on. Went about the rest of my day. My whole day is kind of focused on what the Jets are doing per se, or trying to reach out to some sources, trying to build some sources and things like that. But just consistently writing about. Sometimes stuff that doesn't even matter, sometimes. Like the other day I wrote about how Robbie Anderson was excited to link back up with Sam Darnold because they played together in New York. Cool.
Of course.
But that's the gig right now, right now just writing about a whole bunch of draft stuff. At first I was writing a lot of Justin Fields versus Zach Wilson stuff, but then as each week progressed, it became just strictly Zach Wilson for the most part, so I had to kind of alter my coverage. I thought about writing a column saying why the Jets should take Justin Fields, but I mean, there's no point in me writing a column when that's just not going to happen. If it was 50-50, then okay, but it's not 50-50 Zach Wilson, so might as well just shift all the coverage to Zach Wilson for the most part.
Absolutely. You're not lying about that, bro. And as we get into today's show, Zay, DJ, Reed, I want to start us off right, just letting the people know some quick NFL news that all happened today. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're recording this on Wednesday, the day before the NFL draft. But there was 3 key pieces of NFL news from what we saw. First things first, our conversation that y'all saw last week about the homie Teddy Two Gloves, aka Teddy Bridgewater. The trade happened, like I told Zay.
Yeah, that's true.
Told Reed,
You're right. You're right.
I said, bro,
I'll give you credit where credit's due.
On God's lovely green earth, Teddy was making it to the regular season, bro. I said, that's the homie, but he was out of there. He got shipped to Denver for a 6th-round pick, which makes it interesting because as we get into it, Denver was linked to a quarterback in recent days, the weeks. So we'll see what they'll do there.
Better get a quarterback.
Yep. What you say?
They better get a quarterback.
Oh man!
Come on now.
All right, let me get to the news.
Wow.
Let me get to the news.
Yeah, we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it.
Let me get to the news bit.
The division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Derek Carr. You finna go in there with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. That's how you get everybody in Denver.
Is this another Miami guy slandering a Miami legend? Come on. Come on. What is with this?
He's a legend. We both went to the same college, all that stuff, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I call it what it is, you feel me? I mean, hey.
Call a spade a spade. I feel it.
Giants running back Saquon Barkley has been making tremendous progress on in his recovery from a torn ACL, and I think, MCL too? But a serious injury. Reports are saying right now he should be ready for the start of the season. And as happy as I am to see Saquon back, with all of the medical services and these athletes these days, I'm never not surprised somebody's coming back at 9 or 10 months from a torn ACL. But I'm happy that he's making progress. And last but not least, business is booming in Tampa. AB, God on the way. You already know how they do. The homie re-signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 1 year, for a 1 year deal worth $3.1 million. That's the quick hit. Fellas, how are we feeling about any of this news? If there's any thoughts before we go into the first topic.
Well, first, let me give you your props. You were right. They got Teddy Two Gloves out of there. So you're right. We'll see what that, quarterback depth chart is going to look like. Next Monday after the draft, because I know I saw a few reports linking him to a few quarterbacks. So we'll see what that goes. We'll see how that happens. But you were right. Teddy Two Gloves is out of there, and Sam Darnold is likely to be, that QB1 heading into the season. Saquon Barkley, always happy to, see a good running back, even though, oh my gosh, in our division, it was a lot easier playing the Giants, without him. So one side of me is disappointed, but I mean, I love Saquon. He's a great player. I've interviewed him once during Super Bowl week last year. He's a great guy. So, I'm happy that he's back. And then, of course, AB, it looks crazy down there in Tampa, or up there in Tampa. They might be repeating. I mean, they have to at least be the favorites. They really just got the whole squad back, man. So,
literally, though.
I can't think of a team like it in recent memory, other than I guess the Chiefs kind of brought the whole squad back, but like literally every single player, like, even the guys that signed for 1 year deals, like, AB was like, hey, I got to go back. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, who you think is going to top them? I mean, the Chiefs, but like, maybe we'll see. So I'll pass it over to DJ.
Yeah. DJ, how do you feel about any of this news from today?
The Bucks, they just reloaded, man.
It's crazy, man.
Them bringing back AB, just from AB's perspective, I mean, it was never really about his talent, just more about his off the field stuff, because he was tripping. Like, I remember in 2019, he was. You know how bad you got to be acting up for you to be leading sports shows? Like, he was leading sports shows because he was just doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I think for him, this really gives him a great shot to increase his Hall of Fame resume. For the most part, he already has a ring. He can put up some more numbers. He's only 21 touchdowns away from like 100. He's I think 1,100 something yards, 11,000 something yards. So this is gonna be able to increase his resume. Cause at this point, that's all it's about, him just getting into the Hall of Fame. Because they're gonna try to screw him a little bit. That's what they did with T.O. Even though AB's off the field stuff criminally was a lot worse than anything T.O. was doing.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah, but they're gonna try to do what they do. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what the Super Bowl just to see what they look like when the season come around, because they started clicking towards the end. They carried that momentum. Now they're gonna be full steam this year, so I could see them going like 15-2, 14-3. Like, I could see them being real lethal this year.
You know what's so crazy though? before I pass it back to you, Zay, as we get into the first topic, I forgot for a moment the NFL is now going to have 17 games. So it's about to go 15-2, and I was like, yeah, they got 17 games now.
Yeah, it kind of took me a minute too. I was like, hold on, that might be one more too, but no.
17 games, bro.
Yikes. I'm all for another game. I don't know how the players let that, slide, especially, towards the beginning. Like the opposition was crazy. Richard Sherman was pissed. So like, I'm really surprised that they actually let that slide. But money solves a lot of problems. Definitely. But the reason why we have you here today, DJ, is because obviously Jets got the number 2 pick in the draft. All signs are pointing to that boy Zach Wilson out of BYU.
All the way.
All the way. And it's kind of crazy to think about, considering, college football season ends. Trevor Lawrence is obviously still that guy, despite losing to Justin Fields in the semifinals, the college football playoffs. Justin Fields was, supposed to be that number 2 guy. But I want to get your take on this, DJ. What happened? What is that? We are in May now. What is this? Or almost in May. Good Lord, I'm jumping ahead of myself, bro. It almost feels like we're in May. We're in May
because rent due in like 3 days.
Real rap. So I guess what happened? What have you heard on that Jets beat?
I think what happened with Justin Fields for the most part is, just a typical stereotype that go against black quarterbacks for the most part. All the attributes that get, pushed to people like Mac Jones, like being smart, being accurate, or kind of, not given to Justin Fields, even though Justin Fields had offers to go to places like Harvard and Cornell coming out of high school. He was more accurate. I mean, just as accurate as Mac Jones, if not more accurate. He has arguably the best deep ball in the class, is by far the best athlete at quarterback, and he's not even a running quarterback. That's just part of his toolbox, because man ran a 4.4. Nobody else in the draft ran a 4.4 at quarterback. He has arguably the strongest arm, right there with Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence. I'm really not sure, because in the what was it? The playoffs, when we went head to head with Trevor Lawrence, he outdueled him, outplayed him by every single metric.
With half a rib. Like, come on now, speak on it.
With half a rib. He 6 touchdown passes. And then, they said that he's a one-read quarterback. In that game, there's plenty of times where he's going through his reads and throwing bombs. Once that one narrative got put on him, they just rolled it out for the most part. That's why now unfortunately, he's dropping. It is what it is. But it was predictable, though. Like, I'm not shocked at all. If you're shocked, then you just haven't been paying attention for the most part. So that's my 2 cents, because he's physically the most gifted quarterback in the class, in my opinion. Like, there's nothing that he can't do. I had some scouts tell me that he's kind of like a combination of Dak Prescott and like Josh Allen in terms of athletic ability and build. The scout told me that, he's not like as physically gifted as Josh Allen, but
of course
is kind of in that mold, kind of. So I think he could be this year's Justin Herbert, where Justin Herbert kind of fell last year and then he crushed everything. So if Justin Fields, let's say he goes to Carolina, he'll probably win Rookie of the Year, because he'll be throwing, he'll have more.
I don't think Arden's a big fan of that.
I love Justin Fields. I'm just going to be laughing at the Panthers, because that's just bad management.
How? Management, though.
What? No, not necessarily the decision to draft Justin Fields, but to give up 2 picks, including a second rounder for Sammy, and you still go get a quarterback.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You gave a second round pick for 2022. It's not like you gave 2021.
Hey, bro, if you mess up in 2021, that 2022 basically a first rounder.
Maybe
for a year. I'd rather roll with Justin if I'm gonna go with Justin at 8. Sammy.
But at that time, at that time, it was San Francisco wasn't in that third slot, and people thought that Justin Fields was for sure going to go top 4. Nobody thought that San Francisco was going to trade up and there was going to be Mac Jones. So now he's fallen. By the time they made that trade, because it was around the same time as whose pro day? It was around the same time as, I think it was like that Monday or Tuesday right after Zach Wilson's pro day. So at that point, Justin Fields hadn't even had his pro. His pro day yet. So, you had to get some insurance just in case, because they didn't want to go into the season with Teddy Bridgewater. So they had to get some insurance. But it's only a second round pick. Like the Dolphins, they traded for they gave a second round pick for Josh Rosen, and then they drafted Tua the next year and they let Josh Rosen go. So
that's second and fourth though.
Man, listen, if you that's Justin Fields, bro. Like,
I'm just saying.
It's all about finding your guy, man. It's all about finding your guy.
I'm just saying for me.
Those picks don't matter. It's all about finding your guy. Because if you hit on the guy, those picks don't matter.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to me because I'm going to go into the next question I got. I'll just say this. I'm just saying it's interesting for me because if I'm in Carolina's position, me personally, if I'm in a position where I know I'm going to get one of the quarterbacks, I'm probably taking my chance at getting one of those guys or trading up than doing a trade for Sam. That's just my take on it. Not against drafting. I value capital.
You don't think they tried to trade up to number 3? It's
not even a matter of trading up. It's not even a matter of trading up. I'm saying if I'm in the top 10 regardless, and there's 4 or 5 quarterbacks, and I know I'm in that position to where at this point, over 24 hours from the draft, I'm still going to be tied to one. I'm just saying, me personally, I would have just kept my picks, still shipped out Teddy, but just went with my rookie. Because Justin is ready to play. That's what I'm saying. Any of them boys, we going to roll with you. I'm hollering at a Fitz or whatever veteran to back up. I just can't see myself giving away 2 picks, bro.
I'm just letting you know, you can't have Fitz back up no rookie, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, though, you know what I mean? Not necessarily Fitz, but just a veteran.
Patrick, bro.
But I get it, though. That Fitz magic is scary hours. You feel me? I was shaky, too, with the Fitz magic behind him.
My thing is, like, you have to – I understand where you're coming from, Arden, because it doesn't – if you really liked Justin Fields, it doesn't really make sense for you to go – make a trade for Sammy. I totally understand what you're saying, but at the same time,
Mac Jones, you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but like, you have to you're not guaranteed Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? You have to always have a backup. They might not be as high on a Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? They might not be as high on him or a Mac Jones, like you said. And so getting someone that you are somewhat high on, as in Sammy, it's a backup plan. It's a backup plan. And then at the end of the day, you try it again next year. If Sammy, doesn't pan out, you try it again next year. But
I think Darnold's gonna be that good in Carolina, to be honest. I think people say that he is because so many people just assumed that Sam Darnold was gonna be that dude when he got to the NFL, and they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to give up their take.
Yeah, they holding on to that hope.
That's all it is, bro.
Holding on to that hope.
That's real.
I realize being in the media now, is that people care more about being right than being real. You feel me? Like if you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, bro, you're not an NFL GM. If you're wrong, your career is not ended. They be acting like it though. They take that to heart. Yeah, they be acting. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like I was wrong about Herbert last year. I thought Herbert wasn't good, but he went to a good situation with a good coaching staff. With Pep Hamilton as QB coach, who also helped. Train. He also coached Aaron Drew Luck. Like he had a great year. I did not anticipate him doing what he did. I can admit I was wrong. If the Dolphins had to redraft, they should have taken Herbert over Tua. Granted, Tua. I don't think Herbert would have had the same season he had in LA as he would have had in Miami. He just wouldn't have had the same weapons.
Yeah,
a big factor.
Definitely.
But again, I can admit that I was wrong about that. You feel me? It's not hard. I'm wrong. Move on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a GM. I'm not a scout. This is not my job. My correctness is not tied to my employment. You feel me?
Yeah.
A lot of them, they don't want to let that Sam Darnold thing go. I know y'all remember back in 2018, people said, number 1.
Yeah. He's the truth.
Yeah. I remember all that.
Yeah.
And now that hasn't worked out. They gotta blame Adam Gase, and they gotta blame.
Wait, hold on. Adam Gase definitely deserves a lot of the blame. He definitely deserves a lot of the blame.
He deserves a lot of blame. He deserves a lot of blame. But
Sam, not an NFL coach.
Sam Darnold went out there and threw 9 touchdowns in the entire football season. I mean, at the end of the day, you threw 9 touchdowns in an entire season. Now, people try to compare it to the Ryan Tannehill situation. It's like, Ryan Tannehill in Miami never had a season that bad. And even when Adam Gase come off a torn ACL, he still threw 17 touchdowns in 2018 before they shipped him out. And he had 19 the first year Adam Gase got there, playing some of his best ball. He just tore his ACL. I think he tore his ACL against Carolina. I mean, not Carolina, against the Cardinals. But yeah, like he never had a year that bad. Like Sam Darnold just had 9 touchdowns. But
quick question I got for you, DJ. A quick one as well. So being part of the Jets beat, right, and knowing what you know, ultimately, what made the Jets at this point, for what we know, basically say, "Hey, we just got to hone in on Zach Wilson." Like we're not going to have a back and forth affair. We're not going to trade down.
I think just if you watch Zach Wilson's film, you'll understand why people are enamored with it. It reminds you of Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes, like the things that he does. That's what it reminds you of. It's just the way he can go off script and make fantastic.
Yeah, that creativity.
Yeah, his creativity. It's up there. Like he probably like in this class is probably the best off script out of everybody. He's pretty accurate. Obviously, he has a live arm. I think like it's weird. That just shows you how deep this class is. I think he has the 4th strongest arm, but like his arm is still great. Like he still has a great arm.
Yeah, it's just not top 3, and that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Really good with anticipation. And again, he's pretty athletic. Like when I was interviewing TJ Houshmandzadeh, he said he watched him work out, and he's also watched Justin Fields work out live. And he thinks that Zach Wilson could run like a 4.5 if he ran a 40. So Zach Wilson is a pretty good athlete. Like, so I get that. Like, that's why I'm not, I can't really besmirch them for going with Zach Wilson. Because I mean, Zach Wilson has the talent. You know what I'm saying? We just got to see what happens once he gets there. Because I will say the competition he played was boo-boo.
That's my biggest thing. Like, I don't understand how Zach Wilson started, jumping up the boards when this man was playing Coastal Carolina, Texas State. You know what I'm saying?
Playing a lot of
come on, son.
Southwest, Northeast, Georgia, Southeastern, Louisiana State type stuff. That's what he was. He was playing a lot of, but you're going to play that, but that's out of his control. That's out of BYU.
Of course.
So,
of course.
It is what it is. So, but the talent there. So we shall see.
Yeah.
So I can't besmirch them for rolling with Zach. Now they were going with Mac Jones. Every single I'll have to rip them. I'm sorry, but since they're going with Zach Wilson, like I see why they're going with Zach Wilson. So it is what it is.
Hey Zay, before I pass this back to you for the next topic, quick go around, basically like a yes or no, right? Because we're talking New York teams that technically play in New Jersey. DJ, who do you expect to have a better draft, Jets or Giants?
I think the Jets, because they have a better GM. Dave Gettleman comes off as a buffoon sometimes. So I think, for sure the Jets, they have more picks. And they're not as desperate. So, like, they can just, let the draft come to them. The Giants may get a little aggressive and force some picks because, if this year doesn't work out, Dave Gettleman might get fired. Daniel Jones his career is probably done. So, I think the Jets for sure, though, because I think Joe Douglas, he was with Philly when they won a Super Bowl. He was a scout in Baltimore from 2000 all the way to 2014. So he was there for 2 Super Bowl championships. So he's seen what like good organizations look like, well-rounded organizations. So we'll see though. I mean, they're Philly's draft history after Carson Wentz, it was kind of.
Don't get me started, bro. I don't want to.
So
please do not get me started, bro. I don't want to talk about the Eagles draft history right now, man.
I'll leave that. I'll save you from it. I'll quickly answer Jets.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with Jets as well. Personally, I think the Giants just are a poorly run organization. That's just my, And don't get me wrong, I might be the pot calling the kettle black because the Eagles aren't really run that much better. We just have a Super Bowl. Yeah, we just have a Super Bowl, more recently. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets. Hopefully, whatever quarterback they pick is going to do well. But I think the Giants have a couple more holes, man. That I don't think this draft is gonna solve. So let's see.
I don't want to throw off the wave of this conversation. I just read a report that the Patriots might trade up to 4 to try to get Justin Fields. I'm
Oh, that's been a link too. That's been,
I've seen that.
That feels the Pat's been in the works for a minute too. So I'm not surprised.
He does not end up in New England.
Oh.
That is going to be just so.
Oh, that's the dynasty again.
I don't know about dynasty.
Hey, that might mess around. I'll throw it out there. Hot take.
Hot take.
Hey, I like him being reunited with Cam too. Cam be his OG for a year.
That's what I really do like. Let him learn from another, you know what I'm saying, Georgia great. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Cam Newton has been through the ringer, bro. So he definitely got game to pass down, man.
Hey, DJ, you remember that video of Cam pulling up with Jay Fields in high school? Hey, number one player in the country. Please believe.
I'm just hoping.
JF and Ace Boogie. I like that.
But that would be great. That would be great. What's the word? I guess, that'd be fun for me to cover the quarterback that I thought the Jets should go to the Patriots. And if he has a lot of success, I'm just
dog, how you going to survive Jets Twitter at that time? Because how you going to keep you cool in that? Because folks going to have the receipts and remember, yo, DJ was talking this Justin Fields stuff, da-da-da-da-da.
I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to say, hey, I told y'all, like, hey, it is what it is. I would just be kind of scared because I think at that point, my team would have the fourth, or probably had the third, the fourth most physically gifted quarterback in the division.
Arguably possibly the worst, depending on
physically gifted.
And I still love Tua too. So
I
said that. I still love that guy.
Bro. I love Tua, bro. I'm sorry. I love Tua, man. I'm gonna ride to the wheels fall off, man.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. You don't really got much of a choice, bro. You really don't. But
hey, Zay.
I wanted to kind of expand upon this Justin Fields conversation a little bit. I still think it's wild that he's dropping. We've talked a lot about this both earlier today and in earlier episodes as well. But I think last night, Chris Sims put out his final mock draft, and he had Justin Fields falling all the way to number 32 to the, Bucks, which would be a very, very interesting, case, just because as soon as Tom Brady leaves, you have this man, Justin Fields, who is arguably, the second best quarterback in this draft, taking over that offense with, I don't think AB will probably still be there, but at least Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the best, in my opinion, the best wide receiver duo in the league.
299 overalls.
Exactly. So, I mean, you can't, imagine a better situation, especially learning under the GOAT. We just talked about learning under Cam. What about learning under the GOAT? How is that going to change his mental? I'm sure there'll be some nice or not. I forgot that they don't call that University of Michigan OSU debates in that locker room. But I mean, I'm all for Justin Fields getting the proper instruction. But yeah, I just wanted to get your take on both of your guys' take on this, man. Like, is it, of course, you mentioned earlier that this is solely just, he's a black man trying to play quarterback, so we have to bash him. But I think, like, let's try to have a more, nuanced discussion. Like, when we talk about the things that make Zach Wilson great, you talk about the off-script ability, you talk about the, the accuracy, stuff like that. Like, is he a much better off-script player than Justin Fields? Is he a much more accurate quarterback than Justin Fields? Is it, like, what I'm saying? Like, is it as in your analysis, is it that great of a, I guess, gap between the two, man?
Hell no.
Speak on it.
Listen, there's nothing as I do like Zach Wilson and prospect, but there's nothing Zach Wilson does that Fields can't do. Like, there's nothing. In my opinion, from everything I've seen, like, Fields is that dude. I think so. When we talk about the black quarterback, I think from a more nuanced, the debate or discussion, it's the biases that kick in, right? That where you see the black quarterback, then you automatically, your biases kind of leans you to your analysis, because you're not thinking objectively. Because the thing is, nobody's objective. Like, that concept is fake.
Yeah.
As we talked about before. Like, that's not real. Yeah. We all have biases. So when you're watching, if you're watching, Zach Wilson, and you believe that white quarterbacks do are more accurate, they're smarter, blah, blah, blah. When you see Zach Wilson do the things that he does, like, oh yeah, it kind of confirms what you've already been thinking. With a black quarterback, when you see Justin Fields go off script and he runs, and so Zach Wilson, one thing they do different, when Zach Wilson go off script, he's trying to throw for the most part.
He is, yeah.
But when Justin Fields go off script, he's trying to run. You know what I'm saying? He's just trying to make something happen. He's going to run. So when you see that, like, oh yeah, well, he's an athlete at quarterback. Or like sometimes he'll stay off his primary receiver. It's like, oh yeah, you see, like he doesn't read, the field doesn't progress. But if you watch the film more, you'll see that he does go through his progressions. There's been plenty of games I've watched where I'm like, yo, where does this narrative come from that he doesn't go through his reads? He goes through his reads, and then he answers like, yo, we got some of the best receivers in the country. I'm not going to go off my initial read just so I can prove that I can go through my progression when I know my number one is going to get open. So I think it's things like that, where some of that stereotypes that come in, they, play somewhat of a factor. But, because again, we saw like the rise of Mac Jones, it's all based off of these intangibles that aren't getting attributed to Justin Fields. And again, we saw what Tua Tagovailoa looked his rookie year. It was up and down. There were some highs against like the Cardinals, where he really took over that game. And there was some lows like against the Raiders or against the Raiders. The Raiders is the big one where he got benched. So at Bama, Tua had everything he needed. Great O-line, great running backs, great receivers. He had 4 first-round receivers. Mac Jones also played with something similar. So we see what Tua looked like. Why are we ignoring how he looked his rookie year, and we're just bypassing that, and we're like, oh, Mac Jones does all of these things so well. And because, again, I don't think Mac Jones was better at Bama than what Tua was. Tua literally changed the complexion of Bama's offense. They were a run-heavy team.
100%.
Tua got out there, he completely changed it forever. Like, they'll never go back to where they were with Jalen Hurts. They'll never go back to that. You know what I'm saying? And it just seemed like it was a perfect storm from Mac Jones. It's a COVID year. You have most of the team. You're going to be way more talented than every team that you play. Because the thing about it, like he was great, but like he didn't get the Heisman. The Heisman went to
his receiver. Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of those things where we attribute certain traits to certain guys based off of our biases that kick in. Again, Justin Fields, he goes through his progressions. Justin Fields, I don't think he's ever rushed for over 600 yards in a season. He's rushed for I think he rushed for 10 touchdowns his first year at Ohio State, but he never rushed for over 600 yards. He didn't rush for 1,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? So why is he getting this label of he only looks at a one receiver? He doesn't go through his progressions. And then people throw in with Dan Orlovsky, where he repeated something a scout told him about. We don't know about his work ethic. What Justin Fields was on face the reason, he was one of the driving forces for college football coming back for the Big Ten. Even though in reality he didn't really have much to do with that. That was just a money thing. They needed the bread. They were trying to get the bread. But Justin Fields, he'll get the credit. He was the face, blah, 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 blah. So I think from a nuanced perspective, it's just a lot of stereotypes that's always been thrown on black quarterbacks. So, I mean, that's my perception.
To add on to that, before I let Arden finish this off, I mean, I think there's two things that kind of come into play. First, the thing that people don't realize, and listeners, I really need y'all to understand this. Everyone has certain aspects, traits that they love in a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that, everyone's going to evaluate quarterbacks differently. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to evaluate a quarterback different from Arden. Arden's going to evaluate a quarterback different than DJ. You know what I'm saying? And so when that comes into play, you have to realize that there's biases, as you mentioned. There's no objectivity when it comes to evaluating a quarterback. You love what you love. Some people love to have their quarterback be a little bit more athletic. That's fine. Some people love to have their quarterback be a little bit more of a pocket passer. That's fine. But I think when it starts to, as DJ mentioned, we start to, get into these traits that just are straight dog whistles, man. The terrible work ethic, slow processing. I mean, it's a little bit embarrassing. It kind of shows us where we are in society, that as far as we have, come, and spoiler, we haven't really come that far, but certain things hold true, you know what I'm saying? And it's still kind of surprising year after year. It happens. We expect it to get a little bit better, but it just keeps on happening, man.
It's clockwork. Mitchell Trubisky went number 2 over Deshaun Watson. Patrick
One of the funniest moments ever in draft history.
I couldn't believe that. I was sitting next to a Bears fan, man, and he was like, "Wait, who the hell is this? Who the hell is this?" And
conference. He wasn't better than Deshaun Watson. He went number 2. Lamar Jackson fall. But people talk about sometimes people bring up like Lamar Jackson, you know what I'm saying? But like he fell all the way to the end of the first round. Like Josh Rosen went before him, Sam Darnold went before him, Josh Allen went before him, Baker went before him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then Kyler Murray went number 1. Yeah, because Cliff wanted Kyler Murray. Like that's who he wanted no matter what. Yeah. That was his guy.
Of course.
So, yeah, I mean, sometimes the biases kick in, and sometimes they're accurate. Like Dwayne Haskins, it didn't work out because some of his, work ethic was some of his, maturity kind of, that was an issue. But like, look, Mac Jones had he had like a DUI at I think at Bama he had like a DUI or something like that. Let that if that was Justin Fields, boy, we could forget about him.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
That boy
second rounder, third round quarterback.
Round pick.
Hey, do you guys think though? I was gonna ask you, do you think that the way to fix the bias problem is just to hire more black coaches and stuff? Because there's a lot of like scouts and head coaches comparatively how many black players are in the league. I just think that might be the first step.
I think yeah, for sure. I think they got to hire way more like black people in like positions of power that can make decisions. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the only way. That's literally the only way, because like they're just like your biases are gonna be your biases. Like we're talking about guys that have been watching football for forever. So like what they know is what they know. It's what they think is what they think. And it's gonna be hard to kind of change that. You gotta get somebody new in there that can put on different goggles. So I mean that's one thing that I've talked to some of the black scouts that I've spoken to. That's one thing that they've all brought up was we just gotta get in positions of power so we can start making these decisions and being able to be able to change some of these narratives. Because that's literally the only way. If you keep leaving the hands of people that's gonna have their biases, it's gonna be the same thing over and over and over. Another thing is a lot of these scouts, they don't actually study these quarterbacks. I'm just keeping it being like they're not studying. Like some of them, they cover a region and that's that. Yeah, and that's literally it. Like that's their job.
Hey, DJ, I'm happy you said that because first of all, fellas, great commentary on Justin Fields. Only thing I had to offer was in the words of DMX, bark, 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 where my dog's at, because that's all I hear every time folks talk about Justin Fields. But DJ, because again, we got you for just a little more time. I was telling Isaiah this the other day as we were preparing this special that although there's always a ton of pre-draft madness, to me, it feels like the madness this year is at an all-time high. The quarterback links. I'm seeing more in-depth injury reports from prospects at the last minute, potential trades, all of these new narratives, mock drafts that got Jay Fields and other people falling. Devontae Smith may possibly fall because he's a $160 or 66.
Right.
DJ, am I bugging for feeling like the hype before the draft is at an all-time high right now for maybe the wrong reasons? Am I bugging when I say that?
I think you're bugging a little bit. Just like the hype. It's always been like that though.
That's what I'm saying. It's always been crazy.
There's just so much more coverage. Like one thing that's so obvious is like the NFL draft is probably as like it gets more coverage than like right now. The NFL draft is getting as much coverage as the NBA.
That's real.
So
that's always how it's been though.
Yeah. So like,
but I'm saying like, of course I know it's crazy, but I feel like even within the madness, there's levels where it's like, all right, like this is beyond the normal. That's what I'm getting at. Not the fact that it's crazy, but it feels like this year, bro, it's like, this don't feel like the normal crazy, bro.
Now, I don't know, bro. I remember in 2016, you had Laramie Tunsil, his stepdad tweet out that thing, that, video of him smoking out of a bong, and then he ended up falling to the thing. Bro, we had a group.
But it feels like we get more of that often now, somehow, some way.
But I think that's just the way that society is shifted. You know what I'm saying? Like social media is a lot more prevalent than it was, 5 years ago. It only grows. You know what I'm saying? And I think COVID also kind of, played a role. You know what I'm saying? Like We didn't have a combine this year, so everyone was kind of out on their own trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to evaluate this player? I got to go to his pro day. Well, I got to go. You know what I'm saying? And I was listening to something before. I'll pass it off to you, DJ. I was listening to something a little bit earlier, and they were talking about how some of the scouts like might not have gotten the best read on players because they weren't allowed to be field level. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy. I never thought about that. You know what I'm saying? Now you're up in the, which is to me is a little bit crazy because I thought all
crazy,
scouts were up in the box, but apparently some scouts are
scouts in the box. They still
exactly, you know, exactly, and they did their thing. But like apparently a lot of scouts, you know, like to be on the field and you know see it at field level. So that might kind of complicate things a little bit more.
I'm happy you said that because as we go to DJ. So with that said, though, fellas, is it a matter of maybe the feeling that I'm feeling with the madness is because maybe all of this information is coming more in waves than versus we may have gotten some of this information in January, February, and March? Because you guys mentioned no combine, right? Not as many pro days. Things were just different. So maybe in a normal year, some of the stuff we would have heard back in January, February, and March versus suddenly last month, maybe month and a half, it's boom, 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 boom. I was telling you the other day, Isaiah, about that Virginia Tech corner or something, Fairley.
Yeah, Caleb Fairley.
Yeah, all of a sudden they got the in-depth injury reports popping out now. I was seeing him get first or second round grades. All of a sudden they're like, hey, yo, you know them injuries buddy had? Yeah, that's because he couldn't do a deadlift. And they were going in depth about it. And I'm like, whoa, right now? Like, where was this in March? Like, why we all of a sudden this info's coming out, bro?
Yeah, no, I get that too. Yeah, no, that's a good point. So I guess so it's still been the same. We've just gotten it all that kind of like at once for the most part. So I think that's the best way to look at it. It's basically been the same. It's just because again, no combine, barely any pro days, one Senior Bowl. Because usually it's like multiple. You got the East versus West Shrine game. Yep. There's a lot more. They're supposed to be HBCU combine. So yeah, I think that for sure played a major part in that. But I mean, I just want over.
Madness. Last topic that we got, man. Of course, all of us, we got our teams. Colts Nation in the building via your boy Zay and his Eagles. You and your Dolphins, EJ. Reed, real quick. Who's your football team, Reed? Real quick.
Well, it's a long story. I grew up a Patriots fan, but after let me finish.
Come on, man.
I kind of fell off though once they started doing all that Trump shit and whatever. If I'm being honest, like back in like 20. I'm an NBA guy, so it's kind of
fan with morals. That is true. You are an NBA guy, though, Reed. That's true. And before we let everybody go, man, I do wanted to highlight everybody about what are their hopes for their teams. I know for me, real quick, you know, Colts been linked to a couple different positions. I'm definitely cool with getting that pass rusher within the first 2 rounds. But honestly, boy, we better get this left tackle position right. Because, you need to protect Carson's blind side. I initially felt a little aggy about us maybe not giving up an offer for Orlando Brown, but I realized my GM's Chris Ballard, the great, and he don't be going crazy for trades. I'm cool with a pass rusher. I'm cool with a solid left tackle. And you can never have enough DBs. So I would like for us to find a nice little DB in the secondary. That's all I got for my Colts.
For my Dolphins, just get to as many weapons as possible, and let's roll. That's all I care about. That's all
Chase on the way?
Huh?
Chase on the way?
We'll see. I think the Bengals are going to be stupid and draft a receiver instead of getting Joe Burrow offensive line help.
Free Burrow till he's free if that happens.
Yeah, man. I just, Bengals going Bengal. So.
Bengals going Bengal.
Bengals going Bengal. That's the quotable, man. Bengals going Bengal.
ACL and MCL and like other ligaments, and you're going to get him a receiver when Penei Sewell is right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Hey, Isaiah, for your boys, hey.
For me, I can't watch.
Waddle?
I can't watch. Hold on. I can't watch another season with these bum ass receivers, man. I can't. And I'm not talking about Jalen Reagor because I think, obviously injuries. Should we have picked him over Justin Jefferson? No. And I've been on record saying that since, the end of last year's college football playoffs. So that's neither here nor there. But I'll just put it like this. If we draft another receiver under 6 foot, I'm going to lose my mind. In an ideal world, I wanted us to stay at, number 6 and get Chase. Obviously that didn't happen. Hopefully with all that noise about Devontae Smith being a little bit too thin to play wideout, hopefully he drops. I've seen at least one mock draft mocking him to us. I'd rather have him over Waddle. I get it. Waddle's fast.
One of them had him falling to 15.
Exactly. So hopefully we go grab, Devonta Smith. Like I think he's a dog. That's who I would love. If we don't grab him, I'll settle with Patrick Surtain, man. I'll settle with that. But we definitely need cornerback help. And then we definitely need a linebacker as well. But I think we should give not Justin Fields, excuse me. Oof. Good Lord. I would love to have Justin Fields, but that's obviously not going to happen.
Maybe.
We need Jalen Hurts. We need Jalen Hurts to get some weapons. I think that was the biggest issue last year with Carson as well. He didn't have any weapons. And I think if we repeat that this year, we're going to be even worse than we were last year. So get my man some help. If Devontae Smith is not available at that 11 or 12 spot, let's go get Patrick Surtain. Fingers crossed.
Man. Fingers crossed for all of us, for our teams having a good draft. And that is the first ever A&I Podcast NFL Draft Special, man. Of course, the homie DJ came through, dropped knowledge, provided some great laughs.
Of course.
Man, like we said, the money is on DJ so far, leading the race for Rookie of the Year on Jets Twitter, on Jets Land. We
Definitely
good. I might have to double up because I know I'm going to be right. I haven't felt this certain than the Jags with Trevor Lawrence. It's just the two of us that feel like we got a safe bet. But hey, DJ, our brother, thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you, my guy.
On the show, seriously. Hey, and folks, just in case you haven't seen yet, FanDuel affiliated. You can find clips of the podcast on FanDuel's YouTube channel and on the socials. Again, enjoy the NFL draft. Don't be too crazy. And if you can, be cool like Cliff Kingsbury, like he was at the draft last year, watching it from the crib and all that.
Goals.
Wait.